South Korea may be known for its vibrant culture and beautiful landscapes, but lurking beneath its modern facade are chilling stories of restless spirits and eerie hauntings. Today, we're diving into 5 of the most haunted places in South Korea, where ghostly encounters are all too real. Trust us, you won't want to miss these spine-tingling tales. The haunted Gyeongchun Line, Seoul's ghost subway station. The Gyeongchun Line was originally built in the 1930s, stretching from Seoul to Chuncheon. It was meant to ease transportation across the region, but somewhere along the way, something went wrong. In the 1970s, a new section of the line was planned, one that would pass through a station called Mokdong. However, for reasons no one can fully explain, the station was never opened. For decades, Mokdong Station remained abandoned, left to rot beneath the earth. But that's not the only thing lurking in the shadows. This ghost station isn't just an empty shell. It's said to be home to something much darker. When the station was first discovered by urban explorers in the early 2000s, reports began to surface. The most chilling? Sightings of strange apparitions, flickering lights, and an unnerving coldness that filled the air. Those who ventured too deep into the station's depths began to hear faint, whispering voices. Voices that didn't belong to any living person. Some say it's the souls of those who died during the station's construction. Others claim that it's the restless energy of people who vanished on this very line. Their deaths never fully explained. But the most terrifying stories are those of the shadows, long, grotesque forms that follow anyone brave enough to wander into the station. One of the most unsettling disappearances tied to the Gyeongchun Line involves a young woman who, in 1995, was last seen waiting for a train at the now-defunct station. When security checked the surveillance footage, they saw something that made their blood run cold. To this day, no one knows what happened to her. Some say she was taken by whatever resides in the depths of the ghost station, while others claim she's still out there, lost in the void, her spirit unable to rest. But the haunting doesn't stop there. Locals believe the Gyeongchun Line is cursed. Over the years, several train operators have reported seeing strange figures on the tracks. Figures that appear to be waiting for a train that will never come. Others have experienced their trains inexplicably halting on the tracks near the abandoned station, only for the lights to flicker and a cold wind to blow through the cars. One report from a subway operator told of a night shift where, after passing the station, he saw a reflection of a figure in his rearview mirror. He thought it was a trick of the light, until he stopped for a routine inspection and found that his train had been covered in fresh, bloody handprints. The station remains unvisited, still sealed off from the public, but its legacy lives on in every whispered tale of its ghostly inhabitants. So, next time you're on the subway in Seoul, take a moment to think about what's lurking beneath. The Gyeongchun Line's ghost station is still there, hidden in the shadows. And who knows, maybe one day, you'll hear those whispering voices too, or feel the cold breath of the spirits that dwell there. Daegu's Seomun Market. Seomun Market is one of Korea's oldest traditional markets. Established in the 15th century during the Joseon dynasty, it once stood as a thriving center for commerce. The air was thick with the scent of fresh produce, meat, spices, trading bustling under the warm glow of lanterns. But beneath its vibrant exterior, something much more sinister lurked. They say the market isn't what it seems. When the sun dips below the horizon and the lanterns cast their ghostly light, the spirits of the past stir from their slumber, and the market transforms into a place where time bends, where the living brush against the dead. The ghosts here are not gentle. They're the souls of those who have perished under violent and tragic circumstances. During the Japanese occupation in the early 20th century, this market was a site of untold suffering. People were tortured, executed in cold blood, and buried in unmarked graves beneath the cobblestones. Their cries, they say, still echo in the stillness of the night. It is said that if you walk alone in the market after dark, you may hear those voices, faint at first, then growing louder and more desperate. Some claim to feel an icy hand brush their shoulder, Others hear their names whispered from the shadows. Few are brave enough to stay long after nightfall. It's not just ghostly apparitions that haunt Seomun Market. People have gone missing, vanishing without a trace. In 2005, a young tourist was last seen exploring the market late at night. Her family waited for her at the entrance, but she never emerged. Security cameras showed nothing, and no one saw her again. She was just gone. Some say her disappearance is tied to an old curse, a pact made in blood long before the market's modern renovations. And then there are the shadows. At night, there are whispers of things that shouldn't exist. Things that hide in plain sight. Unseen hands that grab at you, pulling at your clothing, your skin. The market's walls seem to shift, grow taller, more oppressive, trapping you within its labyrinth. If you walk too deep into its bowels, the air turns stale, and the ground beneath your feet softens like the earth itself is alive, breathing in rhythm with your every step. Those brave enough to venture far into the heart of the market claim that the deeper you go, the darker it becomes. The walls seem to close in around you, and the scent of rotting food and decay fills your nostrils. No one really knows why the market has such a hold over the souls of those who enter. But one thing is certain, Seomun Market is no ordinary place. Sungnyemun Gate Namdaemun. Known as Namdaemun, this imposing landmark has stood at the heart of Seoul since 1398. But behind its proud, historic walls, something far darker lurks. Welcome to the haunted past of Sungnyemun. In 1398, King Jeju, the founder of the Joseon dynasty, ordered the construction of this gate. But the building was not without cost. Many workers lost their lives to accidents, disease, and violence, their bodies buried beneath the very stones they laid down. They say the souls of those who died in agony, their spirits restless, still haunt this gate, forever bound to the place they perished. In 1866, Sungnyemun was the site of one of Korea's most horrific and mysterious events. The night of the execution of General Kim Il, a trusted military leader, shook the country to its core. Accused of treason, General Kim was brought to this very gate, where he was publicly executed in front of a crowd of jeering onlookers. But before he was killed, he cried out to the heavens, vowing to return and seek revenge. To this day, people who pass by the gate late at night report hearing the anguished cries of a man, his voice echoing through the stone, as if his spirit still seeks justice for the wrongs he suffered. Sungnyemun's story took another dark turn in 2008. A man, driven by madness, set fire to the ancient structure, reducing much of it to ashes. As the flames tore through the wood and stone, it seemed as if the spirits of those long dead were angry, furious. Some say the fire was no accident, that the spirits of the workers and the betrayed general, whose souls had never been allowed to rest, had finally claimed their revenge. But the gate was rebuilt, restored to its former glory, and yet the unease remains. Today, Sungnyemun stands proudly once more, but visitors have reported strange occurrences, even after its restoration. The sound of footsteps following them when no one is around, cold gusts of wind that come without warning, as if someone or something was watching. Some claim to see figures standing at the top of the gate at night, staring out over the city with hollow, empty eyes. Is it the restless souls of the past? Or is something more malevolent still lurking, waiting to be unleashed? Jeju Island's haunted Guesthouses. Jeju Island is a place of both beauty and mystery. The island is home to some of the most unsettling folklore in South Korea, and hidden within its misty mountains and remote corners are Guesthouses that are more than just accommodations. Our first stop is the Gyeongchun guest house, located deep in the heart of Jeju's mountain range. It's been a quiet, family-run establishment for decades, but those who've stayed there report hearing footsteps echoing down the hallways at night. Even when no one is there, there's one particular room, the Red Room. Guests say the moment they enter, the temperature drops and the air thickens with an oppressive feeling. The faint scent of incense fills the air, even though no candles are lit. Some have even reported seeing dark, shadowy figures standing at the foot of their bed, watching, waiting. It is said that this particular guest house was once the site of a tragic event, a death shrouded in mystery. A young woman, believed to have been wronged, took her own life in that very room. Since that night, her spirit is said to roam the halls, seeking vengeance on anyone who dares to stay. But it's not just Gyeongchun that holds a dark history. There is another guest house, the Hanjin Inn, infamous for its unsettling presence. Locals speak of a man who once lived in this guest house, a hermit who kept to himself, until one day, he simply vanished without a trace. His room, untouched since his disappearance, remains locked to this day. Yet, those who pass by at night swear they can hear him moving inside. The sound of dragging footsteps and the whispering of an old, hoarse voice. There are those who say that the land these Guesthouses stand on is cursed, that the spirits of the past are tied to the soil, forever restless, never to find peace. But there is one final story, one that is too chilling to ignore. The Hotel Jeju Mirage, once a thriving guest house, now abandoned. Locals avoid it, the building standing as a silent monument to the souls it consumed. Guests who stayed here would wake in the middle of the night to find blood on their sheets, cold hands brushing against their faces in the dark, and sometimes, if they were lucky enough to escape, they would run into the lobby, only to see the owners' faces distorted, frozen in time, forever trapped between life and death. They are waiting for you to listen or to leave. So, the next time you visit Jeju Island, be careful where you rest your head. You never know who or what might be watching. The Haunted War Memorial of Korea, a disturbing encounter with the past. The War Memorial of Korea, located in Seoul, is not just a museum. It is a sacred site dedicated to the lives lost during the Korean War, a conflict that ravaged the nation from 1950 to 1953. Thousands of soldiers, both from Korea and beyond, perished on these unforgiving battlefields. But some believe the souls of these fallen warriors never truly left, their spirits forever tied to the land. The memorial was opened in 1994, built to honor those who sacrificed everything for their country. It stands as a testament to the resilience of the South Korean people. However, as visitors pass through its stone gates and tour the exhibits inside, many report feeling something unnerving. There's a feeling in the air, an inexplicable chill, the sound of footsteps when no one is around, and shadowy figures glimpsed out of the corner of the eye. Some claim that they have heard voices in the stillness, whispers, muffled cries, and the faint sounds of soldiers marching, only to turn around and find no one there. But it's not just the ghostly sounds that make this place so disturbing. The most unsettling phenomenon is that of the haunted statues. These monuments, scattered throughout the memorial, are sculpted with painstaking detail, their expressions frozen in time, etched into the very stone, or are they? Visitors report that the eyes of these statues seem to follow them as they walk by. Some claim that when they stand still for too long, the figures appear to subtly shift their positions. It's as if the statues are watching, waiting, and sometimes they seem to move. It's said that late at night, when the memorial is closed to the public, the sounds become louder. The whispers turn into shouting, and the eerie clicking of boots on the pavement echoes through the air. Some believe the spirits of fallen soldiers are trying to reenact their last moments, reliving the trauma of their final breath. Others speak of a darker presence, a shadowy figure that appears by the flagpole, an apparition draped in the remnants of a soldier's uniform. No one has ever seen its face, for it is hidden in the darkness, but the air grows thick with a sense of dread whenever it appears. Some say that these spirits are not merely lost souls. They are angry, trapped in a cycle of violence and war that they can never escape. And it's not just the ghosts of soldiers that haunt this place. Some believe the very land itself is cursed. There are rumors of bodies never recovered, of unmarked graves scattered across the grounds, buried deep beneath the surface of the memorial. The earth, soaked with the blood of countless soldiers, is said to hold their restless energy. When night falls, The boundary between the living and the dead becomes blurred, and the spirits of the past rise from their graves, demanding to be remembered. So the next time you find yourself in Seoul, standing at the foot of the War Memorial, remember this. What you see is only a small part of the story. Will you hear their cries in the stillness of the night? Will you feel their cold fingers brush against your skin? Or will you be just another soul, adding to the dark history of the place where the dead refuse to rest? Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the legends surrounding these haunted locations in South Korea are both fascinating and spine-tingling. From the unsettling silence of abandoned parks to the ghostly whispers in ancient temples, there's no shortage of eerie encounters waiting to be discovered. So, would you dare to visit these places, or is it better to keep your distance? Let us know your thoughts, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spine-chilling adventures. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.